Hi guys, my midterm project is collaborative process-based writing facilitated through Tumblr. For many people, writing is a struggle. Where do I start? What do I write? How do I end it? Don't even get me started on editing. Needless to say, writing has picked up a rather tiresome, even lonesome reputation, one that is maybe a bit unmerited. As an editor and writing coach, I noticed that high school students in particular struggle to compose cohesive and expressive drafts even on the subjects they like and find meaningful. When asked why, the responses boiled down to, I don't know what to say, or I just don't get it. Rather than a problem, maybe this is more indicative of a gap. For many people, writing is an individual challenge of turning thoughts, my inside voice, into actual words on paper. Oftentimes, this is reflective of a product-based approach to writing, which emphasizes rhetorical skills that train students to imitate given patterns. In product-based writing, the focus is, as the name suggests, on a final product. In this way, writing is reduced to a linear, possibly even lonely activity. However, there's a strong body of literature that suggests that writing isn't linear, but rather conscious of change and stimuli from multiple varying sources and is responsive to those sources. The writer must carefully and repeatedly consider the topic, language, and purpose and audience while writing. In this way, writing is an iterative and change-conscious process. The target audience for this learning design is high school students, based on the assumption that they've mastered the rules of English grammar and that with these skills and the process-based approach, they can develop unique rhetoric that they can use elsewhere. With this in mind, the objectives are to understand writing as a process that is both individual and collective, to participate in social media facilitated peer editing, to produce a peer edited draft, and to reflect on the process and become cognizant of the habits, both good and bad, strengths as well as areas that need more work. This experience is meant to be a reflective one driven by journaling on Tumblr. Essentially, students will be tasked with recording their activity as they work. Tumblr, a microblogging platform, is ideal as it supports journaling using an assortment of dynamic multimedia and in this way ties together formal and informal learning. It is cross-compatible with other social media platforms, including Pinterest and Google Documents. The features that make Tumblr ideal are editing and unlimited scrolling. Students can go back and edit older posts. Unlimited scrolling mimics a fluid timeline that students can review later. Privacy. Students can password protect their Tumblr so that only other classmates and the instructor can view the information. Though the exact steps can vary, process-based approach to writing involves 3 steps. In pre-writing, students will brainstorm ideas by curating images and keywords to their Pinterest boards where other students can comment and repin. At this stage, students are not allowed to post complete sentences, and this hopefully will get them thinking about ideas without having to focus on rules of syntax and grammar. Then they will post a brief topic statement to Tumblr where other students can comment and reblog. Finally, they will create and share a Google folder where they will collect references and texts that are similar to the style of writing they wish to produce. In peer revision 1, students will be split into groups of up to 5. They will share an outline to a class Google Documents folder, and each person must review at least the person whose file is below theirs. Google Documents group editing feature is key in this and future stages as it allows students to work simultaneously on a given document, comment, and even edit. There's also a chat feature where students can engage in synchronous communication. Students can share their outlines on Tumblr with personal commentary on the feedback they received and how they used it with specific examples. In peer revision 2, students will have produced a first draft on Google Documents. Within their groups, they will often receive feedback from other students. The point of this stage is to generate meaningful revision, and so students will not be allowed to use like or dislike when they make their comments. Instead, students are encouraged to focus on the why and how. For example, is the overall structure of the paper clear? If not, where specifically is it unclear? These questions in the revision stages are key, as this is where the collaboration comes in directly to shape and reshape a given text. Thus, students are encouraged to repeat them until they reach a final draft. In the final stage, to ease the possible monotony of writing, once they have a final draft, students are encouraged to do the following. Post an audio recording of the draft in its entirety or a summary, or post a video reflection that describes their journey. In this design, there is an emphasis on learning as a student-centered connectivist process wherein this individual interacts with information from different sources and in so doing becomes assimilated into and learns how to function in a generative learning community. This design aims to present learning as a networked and social endeavor. It hopes to encourage students to borrow from a larger shared pool of knowledge. The balance between individual and group work should theoretically allow students the chance to apply the wisdom of the crowd to develop their own style of rhetoric. It also capitalizes on young people's inclination for reflective experiences and continuous feedback. This design is not without flaws. For one, face-to-face communication doesn't always translate into computer-mediated communication, and there's an assumption that meaningful interactions will take place online just because they can technologically. Peer revision calls for a certain level of trust and group cohesion. Students need to be comfortable both sharing and receiving feedback that goes beyond surface compliments. They need to be willing to assume the responsibility of engaging with a classmate's work in a way that is respectful, supportive, and substantial. If this doesn't exist, group dynamics will be weak and might even dissolve, with some doing more work and others doing none at all. Some students may have apprehensions about social media might even heighten. One counter to this is moderation. Especially at the beginning, instructors must be vigilant in encouraging participation through example. Oftentimes, this means the instructor must be the first to give feedback, the first to comment, the first to like, and the first to reblog. They must be there to keep conversations on track and generally offer reassurance that it's about the process, not the product. Without giving this example of a strong sense of social presence, students cannot be expected to reciprocate. Another major risk is the potential psychosocial interactions inherent in using social media. People, particularly young people, derive great value from social media. They seek feedback and often use it without discernment to shape their ideas and identities. Studies have shown that adolescents who receive negative feedback usually have lower self-esteem. Therefore, it is important that young people understand the difference between constructive and destructive criticism so they know how to both give and receive it while doing peer revision. Writing is undoubtedly hard, but social media and its ability to bring people and ideas together offers avenues to ease the process and make it more engaging. Thank you for watching.